All right, so this assignment is all from Parasternal. It's pretty limited. The focus is going to be, again, just looking at quick information. This one's going to be more for quick function and valves. All from Parasternal, so we're going to start out with an increased depth picture again, just to make sure that we don't have a pericardial effusion. I'm going to increase my depth even more. And I'll take this. And then I'm going to do a decreased depth one. So the same thing that we've been doing. Just get a really nice parasternal image. I might decrease my sector width a little bit. Decreased depth picture. Da-da-da. Now here's where we're going to start doing M mode. We're going to walk our M mode through all 3 views that we have here. We can start anywhere, but I like to start over here at the papillary muscle level. So I'm going to put my M mode line through, drop my M mode. It always shows up as really, really, really bright on the Philips machine, so I just start out by turning down the gain right away. And then wait for 3 good cardiac cycles to pass. And then I'll freeze it. Scroll back and show 3 cycles. I just want to see coming in systole, coming out in diastole again. We already did this on last week's assignment. Then you can, if you like your image still up there, you can just kind of move it through then to where the mitral valve leaflet tips are. And then you'll see that show up really pretty on M mode right there. I'll freeze it when I have 3 good ones. Scroll back. I can even show 4. Look at that. Print. And then again, I can just move my cursor through then the aortic valve leaflet tips. So I'm gonna look for that good opening box. This one's pretty. Okay, and then I'll scroll back and show 3 or 4 good ones again. Print. Those are all frozen images, so print on the Philips machine. Now I'm going to come out of M mode and I'm going to start doing zoom on the valves. Zoom is a function we haven't really used a ton. For this machine, it's just this button, you press down on it, and then you can toggle between these little kidney beans to change the size or the position of the zoom box. I'm going to start out with the aortic valve because that's what it says to do on the assignment sheet, so we can just follow in order of that. You'll press zoom again to get it in, and then you just wait for 2 really good beats before you capture a moving image. And then with your zoom box still active and still in there, put your color on and get a color zoom picture so you can get really close and see the color. And then you capture a moving image of that. And now you can go all the way back out of this, out of color, out of zoom. We're going to do the same exact thing on the mitral valve. So 2D zoom. I'm going to make it big enough to include the whole mitral valve. Zoom. And then I'm going to take 2 good pictures of it. Why would we zoom on the valves, you guys? Or are we making sure we don't see? Stenosis. Vegetation, regurgitation, all the above, yeah. Prolapse. We can see if there's mitral valve prolapse with M mode is really good for that. All right, I'm just gonna take another picture because I like this one better. But anyway, you take moving picture in zoom with color and just 2D. And then that's everything for your parasternal long axis view. Now here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take off color. We're gonna go not to short axis, so we're not turning the indicator at all. We're pointing the beam posterior or inferior and anterior. So the first thing we're gonna do is our RV inflow tract view. The tail is gonna go up and the beam is gonna shine down toward the hip. So that's gonna open up the tricuspid valve view where you can see the right atrium and the right ventricle in the tricuspid valve. See what I did there? I'm just kind of at my parasternal long axis and I just slightly tipped up the tail and pointed down the beam. And that opens up your right ventricular inflow tract view. Now I can narrow my sector width quite a bit because we're kind of focusing on this small area right here. We just want to see the tricuspid valve opening and closing and the right ventricle and the right atrium. I'll take a moving picture and then I'll put color over where the tricuspid valve is. I don't know why it makes it so darn dark when I put the color on there. So I usually turn up my 2D gains, but not really my color gains. Because if I turn up my color gains too much, it's gonna get really noisy. I turn them down, but not too much so that I don't get a signal. So I'll capture a moving image of this. And then I'll do continuous wave. You can leave color on as your guide of where you'd put your continuous wave line. I'll put my continuous wave straight through the tricuspid valve, pretty much up and down perfectly at an angle of 0. Update. And now we're looking at information below the baseline because using continuous wave, we're going to look for if there's any tricuspid regurgitation, and that would be occurring below the baseline. So I'm going to lift the baseline up. and make sure my scale is appropriate to show if there were any regurgitation. So I'm going to freeze and capture before I show you kind of an inappropriate scale. An inappropriate scale would be if the scale were really low numbers, showing like not a full signal. Tricuspid regurgitation actually would move pretty fast, so we want to have higher numbers, higher velocity displayed on the screen. So in the 200s, 300s at the scale line, like right here, that's an appropriate area below the baseline. So I'll freeze again, capture that, and then we're gonna move on. Oops, I didn't mean to capture that. Print that is what I meant to do because it's a frozen picture. Okay, so we're gonna go back to 2D. I'm still in my InfloTrack view. I'm gonna widen my sector width so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just gonna go back to a parasternal long axis view by bringing my tail down again. I'm gonna pass through this normal parasternal long axis while I'm on my way to the RV outflow tract view, which is just the opposite motion. Now we're gonna be looking anterior or superior, pointing my tail down, pointing my beam up to open up that pulmonic valve. You can see it creeping in there. Yep, so my beam now is pointing up. I'm looking up higher. And that makes sense because that pulmonic valve lives up a little higher. So all I'm doing now is I'm narrowing my sector width and kind of moving my 2D position to focus where I'm looking.
Your notch doesn't move. Stay 8 points towards
my notch doesn't move at all. Yep, I'm still in the same exact orthogonal plane. Yeah. So I'll take a moving picture of this, and then I'm going to put color there. Again, it got really dark, so I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. I'm going to put color on there and take a moving picture of the color. And then I'm going to do both pulse wave and continuous wave of the pulmonic valve. So I'll just start with continuous wave. I'll put it right through the pulmonic valve. And now I'm going to adjust my scale just to be really picky. I'm going to kind of turn down my continuous wave gains, and I'm going to decrease the number size on my scale so that my signal is bigger. And being even more picky, I'm going to go to the next page and I'm going to turn down my wall filter so that it doesn't filter out as many of the low signals. Okay, I like this well enough. I'm going to scroll back and show 3 or 4 cycles. You see that really nice valve closure click? Yeah, really pretty. I'm going to take a printed or frozen image, unfreeze, and then here's what I can do. I can just update it. I'm assuming I'm still in the same spot, but I just want to make sure my now cursor, when I switch into pulse wave, I'll take my color off, is right before that valve opening, so right in the RVOT, right before the outflow tract, before the valve opens. Switch to pulse wave, and then if I click update again, it'll switch my signal to pulse wave. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to optimize by raising my baseline, decreasing my scale so my my envelope or my signal is a little bit bigger, and then decrease my PW gains. Look over here and maybe see what happens if I increase my wall filter. No, I don't like that. There's a big black line there, so I'm going to make it medium again. We really like medium in general. Low might even be good for this. Perfect. I love all of those. I'm going to freeze, scroll back, capture with a, print, and then you're done.
Sweet.
That's it. Just a really focused parasternal. Yep.
Very cool.
Thank you so much, Lily.